Hi YouTubers, thanks for stopping by. On this video I thought we could talk about some low budget in-ear monitors. Whether you're a singer or if you're using an amp modeler like I was. I'll tell you a little bit about my journey first. In 2023, for most of the gigs that I played with my band, I used an amp modeler direct to the PA, and so I was really reliant on having monitors that I could use to be able to hear the guitar. And at the time we had really crappy monitors so they would actually quit working sometimes in shows and that sort of thing. So I decided I'm going to get some an in-ear monitoring system so I can at least hear the guitar and the vocals and stuff if the monitors go out. So what I stumbled on, I had a very low budget for this, and what I ended up getting was these little Locatos like this. I did a quick search on Amazon, which is where I got them, and I don't see this particular brand anymore. These are MS1s, 2.4 gigahertz. They're wireless, but there's a million. If this isn't the brand, there's a million of these that are probably just have a different brand name on them, but are exactly the same thing on Amazon. If my memory is correct, these were like $50, something like that. And they have a little clip on them. And how I used them, we didn't have a separate monitor mix or anything like that. You know, like you would see in a church group or something that has a lot of money in a PA system. So all I did is I took the transmitter and I plugged this little headphone input into this and plugged it into the headphone out of the board. We have a little, you know, 8 or 10 channel board that we use for the band. It has, you know, I think 4 XLR inputs and probably a bunch of stereo pairs. And I ran that out and I just set the volume about halfway on that, and then I just plugged in, I got these headphones, which are pretty nice. These are pretty groovy headphones. They're MEE Professional, I guess. These were not that expensive either, maybe $30, something like that. They came with this groovy case, which is nice. Again, I bought all this stuff, so none of this stuff is sponsored. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. But and then I used those headphones with the receiver, and on the receiver you can adjust the volume up and down and have it set. You can actually do stereo and mono. I always just used mono because we were just running a PA system, so nothing was in stereo anyway. But they worked fine. Because they're 2.4 gigahertz, they ran into the same issue as I did another video, if you want to check out, on wireless guitar systems. And the main place where we had a lot of the issues was the place that has a lot of Wi-Fi routers and streaming TVs and music and all that sort of thing. And these had the same problem at 240. They would cut in and out as far as what you'd hear. It was never out. I mean, it just is an interference. With a guitar, you can't have any kind of dropout or anything like that. But with these, a dropout on them was just like a click or a pop or something. It didn't stop like the monitors did. So they worked fine for quite a while. I had no issues with them on any like club gigs or anything like that. There was never a problem. So they always worked really great. The headphones sounded great for my modeling amp, and I just ran in. We're a 3-piece band, 3 people singing, and we have bass, guitar, and drums. So the bass also was running direct on these gigs, and the drums were not mic'd or anything. So the only downside with any of the in-ear systems are, well, I'll tell you what the plus side is first, is they block out all of the sound, right? So you don't have, if you have to stand very close to a drummer and his cymbals, these are awesome because they block all of that out without having to wear earplugs. Sometimes I have to wear earplugs if we're playing in a small place because the cymbals and drums are right in my face. So these blocked out a lot of those, a lot of that extra sound. If you get them positioned right in your ear, the key with any of these kind of insert buds is to have them positioned right, and you'll have tons of bass. It sounds really good. If they get shifted at all, a little bit, you'll start to lose bass, and it'll be a little more high-endy. But if you get them positioned right, they sound fantastic. Allows you to control your overall volume. The downside is you really can't hear any room thing unless it happens to come up through the mic. So if someone's asking you what the next song is or making a comment, I could never hear them. I'd have to take one out to hear what they were saying. And then you try and put it back in, and in the heat of the moment, you never get it in right, and it's not as full and rich sounding as you had hoped. But these worked really great, and I probably have in the whole thing maybe you know, $80, $90. If you had several people that were using them, I was the only one that could use them at the time, you could buy additional receivers. So if somebody else wanted to do that same thing, if your band was going to do that, it would work out very economically to be able to do that instead of having a separate mixer. Now, there's no control. Each person couldn't control the mix and all that stuff that you would have if you had a professional system for this kind of stuff. But we don't have a professional system. So it was just what we were doing to kind of get through. And it worked great. Like I said, I used them for probably just about a year. And they worked good. This year I've kind of swapped over. Number one, we got new monitors, so the monitors are great. So when I do modeling now, I haven't had any monitor issues. And I've been using an amp on a lot of the gigs this year too. So that's what kind of changed there. But overall, it was a good experience for not a whole lot of dough. They're chargeable just with a USB, just one of these dual charger things like you see on all this stuff. One USB to the two minis. They plug in. They charge really quick. I actually was able to get them the whole thing to kind of just sit all right in this headphone case. So I just dropped these in my gig bag, and away I went. There was no issue with any of it. Zipped them up, had a nice carrying case for them. So if you're looking to do something like this and have a similar setup for very low budget, this is a good alternative. If you have any experience doing a similar thing with any of your monitors and not spending a bunch of money, for folks, if you can post that in the comments, that would be awesome. And then if anyone else is looking to do this, they'll have your input as well as they make their decision. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe and like so that we can try and grow this community and this channel a little bit. Thank you so much. Have a great day.